I get we start making videos about homeowners insurance in Florida and in California. We've been making these homeowners insurance videos for the last few years, okay? Many of you guys have seen it. I just made one 4 months ago about the California homeowners insurance and what's going to be taking place, Rob.
Fair plan.
Yeah, it's called the California Insurance Time Bomb that I did from 4 months ago. If you just go type in California Insurance Time Bomb, you'll see it that came up. And just put Bet David. Just put Bet David, you'll see it come up. Right there. Zoom in a little bit, Rob. That's how long ago? 4 months ago. Okay, and it explains what's about to happen with homeowners insurance in the state of California. So watch this. My pastor, who married my wife and I, he runs a church, 20,000 members. You met him. We went to Universal Studios with him, Dudley. Love him. Everybody who knows him loves him, right? I'm checking on him and his family to make sure everything is right. And he says, for 38 years, he's been paying homeowners insurance. Always on time. This is a responsible man, a solid guy, family guy, great guy. One of the top 5 men that has influenced my life directly, okay? And he says, just last week, this is before the fires, I got a notice last week that they are dropping my coverage, okay? That they're dropping my coverage last week. Now, I'm not going to give the insurance companies names. All I'm telling you is, there's a lot of names, State Farm, Farmers, Liberty. There's a bunch of them that you can go through that are out there that are dropping it. Allstate, it's all over the place, right? That this is a real story that's going on. Okay. The question he asks, which is the question, we ask on the video, is here's the following. He says, he's not worried about himself. He says, but what happens if after you are in your home and the rates get so high, you can't afford it anymore? Does the loan company call the loan? Do they repossess your house? State Farm stopped writing new policies for house insurance altogether in California a few years ago. And that's a few years ago. And now California's politicians are forcing insurance companies to insure houses in areas that are high risk. And insurance companies are saying, no, why would I do it? I'm leaving your state. So here's where the problem is going to lie. So imagine how many people lost their homeowners insurance and then this just happened. How are you fixing a house? Who has... And by the way, how much do you think these houses are in California?
Multi-million dollar
but in California, you're not it's not like the multimillionaire people think. It's like, he's a, what do you call it? Woods. James Woods can pay.
No, he can't.
And buy. James Woods is an $8 million guy at 77 years old. Yeah. He's been acting for a long time. And you lose the house. And if you don't have insurance, what the hell are you doing? And forget about you don't have insurance. How long do you think, this is the part that Adam Carolla broke it down, which was phenomenal, the way he broke it down. It's a 6-minute video. It's worth everybody watching. We're not going to play the whole 6 minutes. But here's what he said. He says, okay, what are you going to do when all of a sudden, all of these Malibu people, right there, he's saying that he's doing a podcast out of a, Rob, if you can personally listen to it and go to the part where it explains.
He chopped it up. Rob,
is that what it is?
This is where he starts talking about people voting Democrat and how that's going to change in the future. But I don't think that's the point.
No, that's not where I'm going.
You want the beginning.
Don't worry about it. I'm just saying, and then, it's fine. So this is where he's going. He says, what are you going to do when all of these rich people in the Palisades, in Malibu, in Pasadena's got a lot of rich communities. Pasadena's got $20, $30 million homes.
Big time.
So what are you going to do when these guys, their houses burned down? What is a rich person going to do? You know what? Go expedite the process of getting a permit.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He says it's going to take, he says the reason why Bill Maher finally flipped in California is because of a damn, solar he wanted to put on his house that it took so long. It's like, it says we created a 1,000-day countdown.
Yes.
To see how long it's going to take for the solar to go on. So finally, when he's talking to the other actress, what's the actress that was on just
Jane Fonda.
5 weeks ago? Jane Fonda. You're not seeing the problem with all these permits?
No.
So watch what happens. One of the reasons why we left Oakland Park is we're trying to get a damn permit for a fence. 2 years, 2.5 years for one permit. And then go and amplify that with all of these builders. How many builders do you have in California? So now somebody says, hey, I want my permit. And he's saying, this person that's a, lesbian working there, giving permits, all this stuff, is going to sit there and use her power to make it harder for you to get the permit. Now you're going to realize why deregulation is the way to go. Liberals are going to realize the power of deregulation because regulations are slowing so much shit down. And he's absolutely right. Because what now takes place is, I rebuild the house. Hey, I'm willing to build $5 million to rebuild my house. Great. Let's go wait for a permit. No, I need you to start building now. It's not how this works. We need a permit. So the line for permits.
Oh my God.
Imagine the line for permits.
Forget it.
What that's going to look. So then imagine what permits are going to be put on pause. So there's so many other permits right now that are pending. So imagine you want a permit right now. The city now has to decide which permit is more important. Imagine the fights that are going to take place in cities of wanting permits. He says that's when you realize it's going to take 3 years until they put the first brick, where they first come and break and start building your house. 3 years after you're trying to get a permit, he says that's when people are going to realize, liberals are going to realize, what the F are we voting for? And he's 100% right. By the way, you know who would be a good candidate? I think if right now, I'm sure the way Trump works like this, he doesn't work slow. He wants to find out solutions. You know who could be a guy? I just texted him earlier today to whisper this to him. I don't know if he's going to want to do it or not. There needs to be already a bunch of people being thought about of running over there. And it's not going to be a guy that you think about. A nominate. I'd be making a list of 20 names right now for us to make a phone call and saying, hey, what do you want to do with California? And it's got to be somebody that can win both sides. Zachary Levi was on Jesse Waters yesterday, giving his perspective on what's going on. I just sent him a message here a minute ago. A person like that, there's going to be so many people right now that are going to get a knock and saying, hey, are you thinking about doing something? You're a Hollywood guy. You're California-based. You love this place. Are you thinking about doing something? Are you thinking about doing something? This is going to be a season. This is probably the worst season ever. If you thought Justin Trudeau resigned a week ago, imagine the amounts of pressures he is going to get. And not from Trump. Not from conservatives, not from those people. You know when it flips? When people who gave you money that are on your side, liberals, are going to say, hey, Newsom, it's time.
Yep. You're
out. Step the F aside. This is ridiculous what's going on right now. I think that's where it's going to go, where California is going to be like, this is a little bit too much. And by the way, that could take a year or 2 or 3 years, but that day is coming. In the meantime, guess what that doesn't fix? You know what it doesn't fix? Let's just say you get somebody else that's going to be on the red, okay? That's going to have better policies. That's going to say deregulation. That's going to say speed things up. How many people can afford to wait 3, 4, 5 years?
Not a lot.
How many people can afford to pay the homeowners insurance? Do you know why so many people are moving to Nevada? They're moving to Nevada because of this mess. Mark Wahlberg goes straight to Nevada. So many people are out. They're like, I'm out of here. Yes, Texas has grown because of people from California, and it's not just the Rogans and the Musk. We went to Texas. A lot of people are going to Texas. Florida, you're going to see things happening in the state of California. Hasn't happened before. But even to get there, they're still going to be paying the next 12, 24, 36 months, all because of this guy's bad policies. Tom.
And I'll put some stats behind it. So I'm not going to mention everything that we talked about, Dudley. I'm not talking about any companies that he mentioned. I'm just looking at facts. Facts. State Farm and Allstate stopped selling insurance because of the California Fair Plan and Governor Newsom. Fact. State Farm announced last year they would non-renew 30,000 policies in what they called, ready for this? Wildfire risk areas. And you're thinking middle of nowhere, Big Bear, up in the forest. Nope. Guess what? They non-renewed. Here's the stat, Pat. State Farm non-renewed 69% of the policies it had in Pacific Palisades. Data point this morning confirmed. State Farm said last year, we're non-renewing 69% of the homes we insure currently today in Palisades. Why? Long-term brush risk and poor management of the common area.
You can't blame them.
No, I'm not blaming them.
I know you're not, but what I'm saying is, you cannot blame. The business has to make profits. And when the regulators make their life a living hell and make them look bad, what do you want us to do? Take a loss every year?
Well, correct. Now I'm going to the punchline. Why did they do that? Because the county of LA and the city of LA had suspended brush removal in Palisades. This comes down to the county.
Are you joking?
Yeah, you can find it. You can find it was suspended here. Casual brush removal suspended here. Limited brush removal suspended here. This is all going to come out because Zach Levi
That's
and
when
other
Trump
people.
said he got to clean the floor, and the floor.
That's exactly right. And who did, by the way, to his credit, what do you say? You said, get smarter people in the room with you.
Yeah.
Who did he praise? You know, the people in Finland have had policies and they've been doing this for a while.
Right.
So he's not saying, hey, I'll fix it. He's saying, you know, this problem has been solved.
There's
Why don't-
another case study. We have it. They did it. Why don't we learn from them and fix it?
That's exactly right. And so I'm not down on the insurance companies. I'm saying the insurance companies are at the bottom of the waterfall, and at the top of the waterfall is the state with their policies and budget cuts on fire and brush suppression and all the things that they've done, despite the level of taxes they're collecting. And now they collect the tax. They have the money. Prices of homes are way up, so property tax is up. But what are they doing with the money? Homeless programs, sanctuary city programs are wasting the money on non-citizen spends. Citizen spends, you're keeping the valleys and the areas clear of brush, and you're working on that. Non-citizen spend, you have all these pet DEI projects. That's the upstream problem. The money was spent on other stuff.
I just don't think that Gavin Newsom is going anywhere. You compared him to Justin Trudeau. I think he's the Justin Trudeau of California. I think his ego is so much bigger, and I still think he has his eye on 2028. I think that's just who he is. So, you know, you said that bad policies have consequences. I constantly just go back to what DeSantis is doing in Florida versus what Newsom is doing in California. So, you know, when DeSantis got reelected, he said, come to Florida where woke goes to die. And we all know that in California, this is where woke goes to live and prosper. And it comes down to policies versus personality. And you need to figure out and get someone in office in California that cares more about what needs to be done than what feels good. So common sense policies. The guy that's going to take over for Trudeau is likely to be this guy, Pierre Poilievre. And the one thing that he keeps saying, when they're like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? He's like, common sense. Just common sense conservatism. And we're just going to do things that are common. But as we've learned, common sense is not that common.
Okay.
You know, one last thing.
Yeah.
Pull up a map of the United States. I feel like I'm living in the movie My Cousin Vinny. Now, Rob, go to the California. What's that thing all the way next to California, Rob? No, just right there on the map, right where you were.
I know it's
No. What is it? Water?
It's water.
Yeah.
It's a huge ocean. It's not like you're living in Kansas. Do you remember the scene in My Cousin Vinny when he's like, "Are these magic grits?"
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "Hey,
The beanstalk beans.
the beanstalk." He goes, what's this?" He's like, "Oh, that's a window." Okay, now when you saw out the window, what's in front of the window?
Trees.
Trees.
Bushes.
Now, what are all these little things
Bushes.
near the trees?
Bushes.
Leaves and bushes. There's a humongous ocean next to California. It's not like you're in the breadbasket of the country and you're in Kansas or in Oklahoma. How are we going to get water here? You're on an ocean. And what you said, I loved what you said yesterday, PBD. We have the brightest brains. We have startups. We have entrepreneurs. Silicon Valley. You're telling me if you invested $22 billion like they did in the homeless project that went nowhere, you gave that to a startup, they couldn't figure this out? But no.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen here.
Tupac, his song "To Live and Die in L.A." That's what I used to think of L.A. Now when I think of to live and die in L.A., you might just go down in a forest fire.
Yes. Okay. So listen, to all the people in California, our prayers are with you. And probably the best part I liked about what James Wood said, I think when he was on Fox, or I don't know if it was CNN or Fox, he said, listen, we're realizing with this fire and all my neighbors, all of us helping each other out, nobody cares if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Sure. These moments bring everybody together because you realize the value of your neighbor and your community. And I saw that with Laura Ingraham. This morning, we're announcing limited edition hats because inauguration is on the 20th. Not this Monday, but it's the following Monday. These hats are hats that we've been working on having for a while. It's the 45-47 Future Looks Bright hat with the American flag on the side and the VT logo on the side, and it's numbered. And if you look at the inside, it's the limited edition ones are the only ones where you see Future Looks Bright everywhere on the inside, and they're numbered 1 out of 50. These are going to go for $99. These will go in no time, and they'll sell on eBay. We see them all the time for $500,000, $2,000. Some of them sell for $3,000. This will go for in no time. The 250 numbered in no time. Okay. Now there's matching shirts that comes with this. Okay, with 4547 Future Looks Bright with the American flag on the back with Valuetainment. Rob has the one with white 4547 on it. If the camera can zoom in on Rob. Okay, Vinny's got the one with the gray. If you can put this over there, Vinny, with you, and he's got the sweater. So we have the shirt, the sweater, and then there's addition. These are the numbered ones. Then we have these additional ones. That's 4547, red, white, and blue. This is not a lot of supply. But here's what we're doing. The shirts are also here with it. For those of you that are proud that this victory took place and you supported him and you believe the future looks bright and you like all these challenges he's putting out there with folks reacting saying, wait a minute, we should call Gulf of Mexico Gulf America. Yes. What's going on with Greenland? All these policies coming up with, if you support him and you support Valuetainment, you might want to go get this gear. And anything you purchase today, we just made this announcement 30 minutes ago. I had a call with our VP of Finance, Tom and Chris from Merch. 100% of all purchase. Guys, we're going to have probably one of the biggest, that's going to be the biggest day of 2025 in purchases today because we've been working to launch these hats in a long time, the 4547. 100% of purchases made all day today, 24 hours, will go to families that are being affected by the fires in California. By the way, we're not giving the money to a charity and then, hey, here, do whatever you want to do with it. We want families that are being affected. You're saying somebody, your mother lost that. I'm getting stories that are coming in right now with, it just doesn't make sense what's going on there. The worst fire they've had ever in Southern California. People are being decimated, devastated. Stories, people that build houses that have been living there for 20, 30, 40 years, generationally living in Palisades are being affected by it. But I'm talking average day-to-day families, folks that are affected. Send us a story, Connect, whatever other way you want to get a hold of us. If there's stories that we want directly, hearing those testimonies, whatever we sell today, 100% is going to families affected by the fire in California. So if you watch Valuetainment, you watch PBD Podcast, you're a fan of this, whatever you purchase, you're not just purchasing that. And I'm not saying profits, 100% of revenue today from merch, not just profit. That could be a very big number. 100% of revenue is going to go to families in California.
Amen.
Support the cause. I lived there for 24 years of my life. Everywhere I've lived, I've never lived in a place more than California. It's a very special place for me. I have some of my favorite people in the world that live over there, some of my favorite memories over there. I got married in California, too. My boys were born in California. Tom and I met in California. My wife and I met in California. Relationships, all of those memories, I want to make sure we do our part to support those in California. Thank you for your support. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.